Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick with me? Famous scenes with drama queens and heroes acting out there on a silver screen. Come grab a seat, popcorn is on me.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Welcome to Meet Me at the Movies. Noel T. Manning II here. Glad to join you and appreciate C19 TV for continuing to let me have a little bit of time with you every single week. And it is award season. We call it FYC, for your consideration season. It's a time when we get interviews with filmmakers, with TV stars, and we also get access to behind the scenes footage and behind the scenes interviews from studios. So we thought this would be a great time to share some of those with you today as we are continuing with the awards buzz that is out there, and it will be going on until the Oscars wrap things up. But we're excited to share some of these interviews and behind the scenes thoughts with you right here this week on Meet Me at the Movies. Hope you have a great time. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Screen Scene Meet Me at the Movies Spotlight. I am Noel T. Manning II, and today I'm joined by one of the most thoughtful and compelling actors working in television today. That is Rhea Seehorn. Now, many of you will know Rhea from her extraordinary work as Kim Wexler on Better Call Saul. It was a performance that helped redefine what complex, emotionally intelligent storytelling can look like on screen. And now she's taken on the bold new challenge with Apple Studios' Pluribus. It's a series that blends science fiction, character study, and social commentary in ways that feel timely, universal, and deeply human. It's a role that also has earned Seehorn a Critics' Choice Award and also a Golden Globe Award, and we're happy to have her joining us right here today on this Meet Me at the Movies Screen Scene Spotlight. Rhea, it is so wonderful to spend time with you today.
Hi, nice to see you.
Congratulations as a Critics' Choice voter. I've got to say congrats on the Critics' Choice Awards and the Golden Globe. It was so wonderful to hear your name announced for both of those. And thank you for taking the time, because I know how busy you are. And I tell you, Rhea, love this series, and audiences and critics both are responding so deeply to Pluribus and to your performance. What do you think for you is the most surprising thing that you've learned about this character, about yourself through the project and maybe even its reception?
I had a lot of fun technically collaborating with Vince Gilligan specifically on the tone of this piece, because it really takes some wild swings from very, very funny to very dark and psychological, and swinging back and forth. And so I had a lot of fun. And by that, I mean, it was very, very challenging in the best way for an actor to find that balance of how much you can sustain a comedic moment over here and a darker interior psychological moment over here, and how long for them, they have to live in the same show. And so that was a really cool exploration to do with him.
Ray Carroll is literally smothered under the weight of a world that seems suddenly and possibly different in more ways than one. I'd love for you to share, if you could, what kind of advice would you give Carroll from your own life experiences? Maybe something that could help her navigate this world of Pluribus. What would that be?
I don't know. I might have had some advice for pre-virus Carroll to stop fault finding, stop always looking for glass half empty, try to enjoy your life. But post-virus, I gotta say, it's funny when some people are like, she's an absolute, she's insane and she's being a spaz sometimes and she's this. And I'm like, oh, really? You would handle all this with grace, I presume? We're trying to make sure she remains a real person in a very unreal circumstance. But yeah, she's not always making the best choices. I don't have any advice though.
Well, I think we all would make bad choices like that, or maybe not some of the best choices.
Zosha, you with me? I need you to answer some more questions, okay?
How do I reverse all this? How do I reverse the joining?
No.
Zosha, how do I end this thing? You already told me it's possible.
No.
Yes? Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
You did. You pretty much did. So the hard part's over. Right? Now, all you have to do is tell me how to put things back the way they used to be. Come on. Come on, Zosha. Is it making you sad not giving me what I want? Is this making you sad? Don't be sad. Tell me what I want to know.
Ray, there are so many different layers to Pluribus. It speaks to some people about collective identity, maybe the nature of what it means to be happy, or even free will. So I'm wondering, how do you think Carol can help us to appreciate that value of discontent, maybe the power of individuality, even when the world around you tells us to give in to something that we don't feel like we should?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has fostered some really interesting, deep philosophical questions, and Vince is using, the sci-fi genre, if you will, in a great way to reframe some questions that you may have thought you had very black and white answers for prior to having to look at them from this point of view. Of course, it'd be great if there was world peace, but they're asking you, like, at what cost? But also depends on where somebody is in their life. Like, it's a point of Carol she's not starving to death or living in the middle of warfare. So for her, she's looking at individuality from a place of privilege. But hopefully we push past that to have the deeper conversations of, well, what is true freedom and what is real contentment? And is contentment the same as joy or the same as happiness? And the whole "I'll be happy when" syndrome. How do you define success was another big question that it brought up in a lot of us. And also, I have a very extroverted and a very introverted side, two sides of me. And I need alone time. But Carol is pushed to the breaking point of, like, okay, what if you didn't want to be alone anymore? And as a former misanthrope, Carol, not me, I think she's really being tested on, you think you don't need people? Watch this.
Ray, you are amazing. The show is phenomenal. And I'm just so thankful that we get a chance to appreciate it and embrace it for what it is. So thanks for joining us right here on Screen Scene and Meet Me at the Movies.
Thank you. And thanks for watching it.
Hey, Carol.
We just want you to be happy.
Many thanks again to Critics' Choice Award winner and Golden Globe Award winner Ray Seahorn for joining us right here on this Screen Scene Meet Me at the Movies Spotlight. Pluribus is one of those projects that stays with you and it dares to ask questions about who we are or who we could become. Whether you're coming to Ray's work from Better Call Saul or discovering her for the very first time in Pluribus, this is a performance and it is a series that's well worth checking out. Welcome to Meet Me at the Movies. I'm Noel T. Manning II, and today we're going to dive into the high-octane world of F1, the movie. I like to say F1, the motion picture. It just sounds more cinematic. That's just me. That's just me talking. Filmmaker, director Joe Kosinski is going to be joining us today to talk about this film. It was released back in the summer of 25. It crossed the box office finish line with over $650 million worldwide. Audiences connected with this. It earned an A cinema score and also a Rotten Tomatoes audience score of 97%. And here we are in awards season, and F1 is still getting some love, very much in the conversation and categories, numerous technical categories. Golden Globe nominations 2, Critics' Choice Award nominations 7, and growing recognition from other critics and awards groups across the globe. Joe Kosinski joining us right here today to talk about how the sights and the sounds and that emotional pulse of F1 came to life on the big screen. Let's hit that ignition switch and see what Joe has to say. Hi, Joe. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good. Good to see you.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us right here on Meet Me at the Movies. Glad to have you with us talking about F1. As I think about the many films you have, I think about Tron Legacy, Top Gun Maverick, and F1. You seem drawn to explore relationships between generations, and I'd love for you to talk specifically about how technology plays within those relationships. We definitely see that in F1. And are there anything that you think personally you brought away from relationships and exploring that technology in F1 specifically?
Yeah, it's interesting that you've kind of drawn that, looking back at those three movies. Even Only the Brave is another one, I think, where you could probably throw in the mix. For me, it's about telling relatable stories in these incredible worlds and looking for themes and relationships that anyone can relate to, even if you don't know anything about naval aviation or Formula One racing. So it's about taking the audience into this world that they'd never be a part of and showing them something incredible and exciting and cinematic and taking them on a journey. So I'm always looking for those relatable stories that, are emotional, but also looking for, that reason to watch it on the biggest screen possible, because I think that's our job as directors now more than ever, is to get people out of their homes into a theater and telling stories that demand to be seen on the biggest screen possible.
And this is one of those films, without a doubt, the biggest screen, the best sound. It is such an immersive experience, as so many of your other films. And I tell you, just the beauty of watching the camera work. And kudos to cinematographer Claudio Miranda. You've worked with Claudio, I 6 of your feature films so far, if I'm keeping track there, maybe more.
6 times.
If you could talk about that creative partnership that maybe has influenced your journey as a filmmaker.
Yeah, well, Claudio is first and foremost an incredible artist, but also he's a bit of a mad scientist and always willing to, embrace a new challenge. And with almost every film we've done, there's been something we've had to invent or innovate in order to pull it off, going back to Tron Legacy or Oblivion. Certainly with Formula One, it was about how do we capture the speed of these cars in a way that doesn't slow them down. And that meant basically inventing a brand new camera system in order to shoot this film. And Claudio and his team did an incredible job pulling that off.
It truly is the art and science of filmmaking combined, what you are continuing to do. And I just thank you for continuing to explore that and give that experience to us as audience members. It is a beautiful thing to be a part of, for sure. And I want to thank you for that. Going back to this film and the cinematography, was there a particular complex moment or sequence in F1 that you can point to that you maybe felt like was a culmination of your many years of working together?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many technical challenges on this film. I think the most challenging sequence was probably the Las Vegas sequence, and that is because we only got a 15-minute window, one slot on that track at night to pull that whole scene off. And it meant everyone, cast and crew, pulling together. Brad and Damson had never driven that track before, so they're going out and driving it for the first time on screen. It was cold, the tires had no grip. It's an intense scene, as you know, if you've seen the film. And everyone just kind of came together. The technology worked. We were able to pull it off in that very short window and deliver what is, I think, one of the most important and one of my favorite scenes in the film.
I mentioned that this is a film where sight and sound combine to create the experience. And I think about the score from Hans Zimmer, along with those needle drops from so many different artists. What do you feel are some of the important aspects and the conversations maybe you have with the music department to find that balance between score and a soundtrack?
Yeah, well, when you're working with Hans Zimmer, you're working with one of the best composers ever. It was important to me that there be a theme, a melody, something that kind of pulls this whole film together. And Hans is the best at doing that. So once we had a theme, we were able to kind of work it into different parts of the film and play the kind of orchestral side of it into the more dramatic scenes. We were able to use that theme in one of the songs. Lose My Mind, is actually a song built on the melody that Hans did. So it's nice when you have that synergy between a song and score. And then otherwise, it was just working with all these incredible artists to find those moments where, anyone who's been to an F1 race, it is like being at a music festival. The soundtrack is nonstop and constant. So I wanted to capture both that festival-like atmosphere, but also just the global nature of Formula One as a sport. So we've got artists from all around the world contributing to this soundtrack. We've got Hans Zimmer's score, which is unbelievable. And then putting it all together, working with my crew at Skywalker Sound to mix it all together. It was a very complex mix, but ultimately I think they pulled it off. So very proud of everyone who worked on the film.
Hey, Joe, thanks for your time and thanks for bringing the film to the big screen where it belongs, and best of success for you as we move through FYC season.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
See ya.
Many thanks to Joe Kosinski for spending time with us right here on Meet Me at the Movies, talking about F1 the movie. You remember what I said, F1, the motion picture. You can check out this flick on physical media wherever you choose to purchase, or you can also find it on Apple TV Plus now. Noel T. Manning II here saying thank you again for joining us on C19 TV's Meet Me at the Movies as we talk cinema and engage in some behind-the-scenes thoughts from some of the projects that stuck with me during this award season. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a
Education is our most powerful tool to improve and change our world. Hi, I'm Rhonda Benfield, your host for School Matters. Join me for a new program every other week with information from and about the students and staff of Cleveland County Schools. Discover what our schools are doing to challenge students and help them reach their full potential. You can catch us on Spectrum Cable Channel 19 or stream us live on C19.tv.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick?
Welcome back to Meet Me at the Movies. Noel T. Manning II here saying thank you for joining us as we go behind the scenes at some of the projects that spoke to me during this past year.
They told me about you, you know.
What did they say?
You were different.
Ain't everybody different? It's a very personal film, this, for me, in many ways. Robert is a kind of an everyman in the sense of what we might hope for. Sensitive, honest, and attuned to people and things in the environment around him. I'm Robert.
I'm Gladys.
I've been a fan of Joel's for so long. He's just an amazing actor and storyteller on top of that. Joel is such a great partner to have on this film because he has such a deep understanding of this character and of the story that I was trying to tell.
You got family somewhere?
Everywhere there's a smiling face. I looked up at Joel and he had this delightful grin on his face. It said it all. He was really listening to me. You can pretend to listen or you can really listen. And he was right there. It's good having you around.
Seeing Joel is spiritual.
It's like very hard to explain, but it's like really deep and moving. He's such an observer of things in life that when he does open his mouth and he does reveal his inner feelings, it is very like, oh my God.
Joel can do so much with so little. He can give such a subtle performance that he can completely disappear into a character, and yet you still feel the strength of his presence.
Joel is such an amazing actor that he can just say everything without saying a word, just with his eyes and his expression. So we were just trying to let him be and capture those moments because we knew we needed all those reflection moments. We just wanted to capture the beauty in his silence.
There's just an arc coming back.
Joel's like a rock. There's something so elemental about him. It's such an extraordinary ability to make people relax around him, and he really emboldens you.
He's also got this beautiful balance of strength, but also tenderness and thoughtfulness, and just brought so much depth to the character and helped me understand the story a lot better than I did.
I hear them sometimes, just talking and laughing. I don't even want to turn my head because I'm afraid I'll scare them away. So just listen.
Grain, you're worried more and more that something terrible was following him. That death would find him out here, far away from the only place he really wanted to be.
This is my second film working with Adolfo. I couldn't imagine making this film without Adolfo. And I find that a lot of my style as a director comes from the freedom that I have from working with him. He's got such a brilliant eye, but he's also just a very thoughtful storyteller.
Working with Clint is great. We have very common taste, which is a good start, but also I feel like we push each other in a way that can take us to different levels.
Adolfo is so excellent. The imagery, the framing, the way the camera moves, and his ability to capture almost all of this with very little external lighting. Almost the entire film is in natural light, and he's operating every shot you see. He's extraordinary.
He sort of knew what he wanted to do, and I think what was great about it is it was all very, very organic.
A lot of locations required having a small camera so we could fit anywhere. And because we were doing also a lot of handheld, it was important to have a camera that was easy to move around and just follow whatever is happening.
What are you thinking about?
The main character is really quiet. So it felt really important for us to following that rhythm somehow. Just capture it in a way that felt like we were actually there in the room with that quiet character.
The way I wanted to approach the film thematically, and specifically with portraying this reverence for nature and the magic of the natural world.
We just cut down trees that have been here for 500 years. Upsets a man's soul whether you recognize it or not.
Adolfo and I really wanted to make sure we did it visually. The natural world and the animals and the trees were not just these passive background elements to the lives of people.
We also wanted to play nature as a character to make the audience really be able to connect with it. It was really important to capture nature in its beauty and also in its danger.
When there's a low budget on a movie and there's certain things that need to be shot, there is a sense of like, oh, how are they going to pull that off? How are they going to pull off the fire on this budget? It was really impressive to me in the end. It was actually almost better than I thought it was going to be.
There is something magical about fire. Capturing that destruction of a real cottage was really important, but we couldn't obviously make a huge forest fire, so for that particular scene we used a lot of lights. So it was also gratifying for me to realize that it looked quite impressive. It was just amazing. It was a really good feeling.
We were trying to make a period piece and something that felt very historically accurate, but also not fall into something that feels tired and help it feel like modern and traditional at the same time.
was a period film, so everything else was much more complicated. We tried as much as possible to give room with improvising and letting the set be as 360 as possible so the actors can move around, so the cast can really have freedom.
It was the most rewarding, creative act that I've ever done.
And even though that old world is gone now, even though it's been rolled up like a scroll and put somewhere, you can still feel the echo of it.
I guess it took many years to come to this story. I had been a fan of Dennis Johnson's for a long, long time. The producers reached out with the rights to the book and asked me to think about adapting it. It really just came alive very quickly as a story, and it was so simple and yet so complex. And I think those are my favorite stories, where you can say what it is very quickly and very easily, and yet it contains multitudes. I can't listen to music as I write, but I always like to make a playlist for not only myself as I'm developing, but also as something to give to the crew and the cast and producers and everybody else to try and give a sense of what the feeling of the film will be. And it's very wide ranging. It's got Leonard Cohen on there and Bill Callahan. There's Pharoah Sanders on there, Dvorak, Tchaikovsky, a visual language or a filmic language that feels like something from the past, you know? The playlist was a big part of that, of finding this musical language that helped set a tone that brought those paradoxes to life. We wanted to make sure that nature was its own character. The natural world and the animals and the trees were not just these background elements to the lives of people and to the stories that the people were living, but had their own stories. And I really just wanted to explore and show how much we are intertwined with the natural world, not only in how we affect it, but how it affects us in our lives. When I'm preparing for a film, I try and research as much as possible, and that takes many different forms. With a film like this, where it is set during a specific time, I try and read as much as I can about that time, because you never know what little tidbit is going to just be in your toolbox that's gonna pop up on the day. I also try and research as much as I can into the place that we'll be filming, and in this case it was Washington State. There were quite a few locations that we used that turned out to be very magical, that I found just by looking around on the internet or driving around when I was out there just kind of aimlessly. You never know what the world is going to give you. And so I try and do as much research and watching different movies and things like that as I can. There are some scenes where it is a dialogue scene and you know it, you know, and the dialogue is there and it's really strong and you need characters saying the words in order to get something across. And then there are other scenes where you've written this scene and you feel like you need all the dialogue, and then you get to the scene and you realize that the scene's actually better if you throw most of the dialogue out. And yet you needed the dialogue there to kind of understand, when you were writing it, to understand what the scene was about. And so it's just a process of listening to the film, listening to your actors, and being open to whatever the scene is trying to give you in that moment, and hoping you don't paint yourself too far into a corner in the process.
As always, we do appreciate you spending time with us right here on Meet Me at the Movies. And until next time, I'm Noel T. Manning II, and that's a wrap.
Many films to view until we meet again. Next time we see you, we'll gladly fill you in. We'll tell about the happy and the sad ones. We'll talk about the good ones and the bad ones. Many films to view till we meet again.
As Cleveland County's premier event facility, LeGrand Center is the ideal location for any event. The LeGrand Center is located 45 minutes west of Charlotte, 45 minutes north of Spartanburg, and just a little over an hour east of Asheville. Whether you're a small business looking for a place for an off-site meeting or a bride looking for that special location for her wedding, LeGrand Center is the perfect place for you.